we deleted everything.
There we go.
All right.
Okay. This is Harbour Heights, and this is an interview with Dwight Hurd and Garrett. So we thought we'd get some interesting interviews with some of the old timers who've been coming to Cayman and coming to Harbour Heights for such a long time. And we thought we'd ask Ann to tell us the story about her friend and the turtle farm.
I really don't know too much other than a couple of my nutty friends. Bob Siebert and Henry Hamlin decided they hooked up with some Englishman, and I can't remember his name, who wanted to start the turtle farm. And they went roaring off to, I think, Sierra Leone. Does that sound right?
Sounds like, yeah.
To collect turtle eggs.
Really?
Right.
Yeah, they really did. And Bob Siebert actually caught some awful something. He was really, they called it sprue, I think, or something. He was sick, really, for a long time.
Really?
They never could find out one of these tropical things. Anyway, as far as I know, they brought the eggs back here, and I'm not quite sure who they got to finance them. But they had somebody that knew something about raising turtles, and I don't know who that was.
And that's how the turtle farm started?
Yeah, and the third guy had an apartment up here.
Yeah.
And was he from York, Pennsylvania, or some?
Oh, good, you're right. Uh-oh.
And he was a partner of Hamlin's and
Siebert.
That's right.
And then there was the Englishman. Oh, man, that name is leaving me too.
Not Bruce Campbell.
No, Bruce
No.
Campbell's the lawyer.
Okay. Nancy thought he was the insurance guy.
Well, he's the lawyer.
He's a lawyer. It might come to me.
Well, that's a
someday.
good story. I did not know that. John said that you would know about that.
Well, I don't know too much because I started, actually I came down here because I was tired of skiing and I wanted someplace warm, and I went to look in Florida, and Dick said, "Over my dead body." So I went to Florida, and then my son John had just finished his school course and went his open water dive. So down we came and stayed at Siebert's apartment. And I went home and said to Dick, "Well, I didn't buy anything in Florida, but however, I think you're going to like Cayman."
Now there was a whole group from Rochester. There was Hamlin and Siebert, you, and there were some other people from Rochester too, weren't there?
The Warrens.
That's right, Warrens. Yeah.
Let's see who else. And there's some others that I don't think you do know. But,
Well, originally in the early 70s, the island was populated by a lot of people from Columbus, Ohio, because the owner of the pharmacy here was Lee Funk. And Lee ran the Cayman Island Pharmacy, and he would bring down medical students for 6 months to help out. So all those doctors got to know Grand Cayman, so they all started coming down here, and many of them stayed in Harbour Heights.
Well, actually, I first heard about it, excuse me, from a guy named Jim Reed, who was from Rochester, who went around the world on the Yankee. And one of the other people on it was a guy named Jim Ford, who eventually owned, I think, what is now the wharf.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
And Jim Ford said you really ought to go down to Cayman. You'd really like it. And this was back in the 70s.
I'll be darned.
And they had stopped here on their way around the world on the Yankee.
I'll be there.
And they're really.
They wanted, and Jim said, you're a fool. You really ought to buy something down there. And this was actually a lot earlier. This was in the 60s. And we said, we can't do that. We're having a bunch of kids. What are you thinking about? Oh, if only I'd known.
Well, there really were some characters down here. I only came in 1981 was the first time I came. But tell about, you guys both know George Eady and what a character he was, huh? And the folks.
Well, there was a whole group from the Memphis area Ruby and Humphrey Folk.
Well, no, they're Memphis, right?
Yeah, Wilson,
Yeah.
Arkansas, across the river. And then there was Edie from Louisville, and a whole bunch from Louisville. There was
Yeah.
Edie and Gil Wittenberg
Oh, that's right.
and Kent McCowan,
Right.
And,
Kent and Nancy, that's right.
and a whole group of people from the Louisville area that came down. Almost all of them were divers. And I think that was one of the main attractions for everyone, was the
Yeah.
diving.
I'll be darned.
And Henry Hammond from Rochester was a diver.
Yes.
And so he bought an apartment. He had an apartment over on the end,
Yeah.
upstairs
Okay.
over there.
All right.
Didn't he have something to do with the Hickok Belt Company?
No, I don't think he had anything to do with that, but that was Rochester, and yes. we
In
were-
Rochester? Yeah.
Well, those are some good stories from Harbour Heights, going way back. Our battery's getting low.
When can we expect our check?
I don't think we were very informative. We could tell you more about the drinking and the parties.
That's
won't
for
talk about that.
that's for another tape. Who do you want to say hi to? Because I'm sure everybody will see this. You want to say hi to Ruby or?
Oh, absolutely. Hi, Ruby, we miss you.
To everyone.
And we miss Humphrey, too.
Right, oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, thanks for your interview. Over and out.